Yo. What's
Yo,
up, everybody?
yo.
Oh, we lost the camera. She's got a camera off. Imani's here. She's got a camera off. Oh man.
Technical difficulties.
At the last minute during the countdown. Couldn't abort mission, but we are here. We are live. Welcome to the stream. Thank you all for joining us tonight. What an episode we had tonight. Oh my gosh.
That's putting it lightly.
Man, that I will say up at top, that wasn't what I was expecting at all. Was not what I was expecting at all. Give Imani some time, man.
Preach.
Oh man, hope everybody in the viewing is doing well. Switching my backgrounds here. Completely dropped out. Technical difficulties. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna get started a little bit later. As soon as Imani gets her technical difficulties worked out. But hey, how you doing? If anybody is in the chat, let me know. I'm ready to talk about this episode though. Ready to go. Oh, and I think she's back. She's back.
Woo! What technical difficulties?
The one from 2 minutes ago.
I don't even know what y'all talking about.
The past 2 minutes.
It was good. All right. Happy Sunday.
Sunday.
That was an episode.
Oh God, was it? I feel like that was. I'm gonna be honest. Yes, that was not at all. Like I said, that was not what I was anticipating this episode to be. There was a lot happened in this episode, yo. I'm speechless right now.
I am too. I think let's just get this out of the way now because it was so small in comparison to all the stuff that we saw today, but it is still a really big deal. Letty is pregnant.
Yep.
Letty is pregnant with Atticus's child. And yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's the speechless. The episode was so nice.
But how do we know that's his child?
I mean, the show does throw a lot of crazy stuff at us, but one thing we know is he is the last descendant and they need to keep the line going. So I'm going to say it's his. Now, is the child going to be 100% normal? I don't know. Nobody on the show is normal, but I'm going to say that it's his. Oh, that's not even the most important news.
What's the most important news?
I was wrong. I was wrong.
Oh, man.
And I don't think we got to talk about this on last week's episode of Aftercraft, but I swore up and down that although William and Christina shared a body, that William had his own consciousness. Mm-hmm. And today we found out that I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts really bad, y'all. Like I've never felt such pain before. This is just, I am not wrong often and it hurts. But yeah, I am sad. I am devastated. They tried to make you feel sympathy for Christina a little bit, when in reality, she was just out here playing Ruby, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. And I was wrong.
Nah, I said from jump, she is a master manipulator. Like these are the type of villains I'm used to in Star Wars. So I see it, and I was like, yep, I see her game. I see the angle she's playing. She's pulling the whole Palpatine right now.
And
she's in complete control of this whole situation. Complete control.
Knowing her and knowing that she has control, she didn't pop out of William's back by accident. That happened when it happened for a reason, because it was time for Ruby to see that, and it was time for Ruby to start working for Christina directly instead of indirectly. And by the looks of it, I think whatever Christina told Ruby fell for it.
That's true.
So whatever Ruby is gonna do for Christina, she's gonna do it blindly, thinking that Christina is on her side.
No, so but like this is the angle that these types of characters always play. Like when you're dealing with a manipulator that has like powers. It's why the Palpatine reference comes back into play for me. It's Palpatine knew how to get into Anakin's head,
Mm-hmm.
as well as how to get into the heads of everyone on the Jedi Council and everyone in the Senate. Like he just knows how to hit people's buttons without them looking at him as the problem.
Yeah.
She got Christina got Ruby to trust her enough to know to get in her headspace, give her a target or someone to focus her anger and frustration out, which is white people. And that really enables her to trust Christina. And then now that she's built this trust and she's seen and she's now exposed her to a larger world, to the magic, now she can reveal some truth, but not the whole truth, because she's still not telling her everything. Like
she's only telling her what she needs. First of all, we don't even know if she's telling her the truth. We just know that Christina is telling Ruby what Ruby needs to hear in order for Ruby to be on Christina's side.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's layered. Like she is slowly pulling the curtain back, and it's enough to where, so like, she understands how much buy-in Ruby has, and then that is giving her insight into how much she can reveal to her. Because now when she's bought in this far, then this reveal that she was also William, yeah, it's going to sting, but it's not going to get her to flip on her.
Yeah. Also, so many problems would be solved if these people would just talk to each other.
Yeah, that was another thing. Now she doesn't. Now, once again, the manipulator Christina is playing into her distrust of her sister, and now she's using that against her. Now she's playing into that to play into her favor, because I'm telling you, she is a master manipulator. She's pulling all the strings. This is Orochimaru. This is Palpatine. Is Vitiate. This is all the manipulative characters that we've seen throughout film and TV and movies and books and every genre.
Yeah.
They are also my favorite type of villain.
I am not surprised in any way, shape, or form. If anything, the only person Christina hasn't gotten to yet is Hippolyta.
Yes, and that's another thing we'll talk about. Certainly. We got the confrontation with Atticus and his dad.
That was rough.
That happened. In this episode. Like, a lot happens in this episode. But hold on, let me get to these comments real quick. Let me get to this comment. I got one comment. Hey, Ma, how you doing?
Hi, Mrs. Cooper.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you everybody who's watching right now. We're still early into the episode where we're going to talk about the confrontation between Atticus, and dang, I'm blanking on his dad's name. Montrose. Yes, Montrose.
Just thinking about last week's episode and just watching, what Atticus went through overseas. And then, he's talked about his relationship with his father, and now he's back home. And, at first when he dropped the F-bomb, I was a little bit like, hey, yo, like, what's going on? And I don't think what he says afterwards excuses it, but he is definitely a hurt and broken person.
Yeah.
And his father is the cause of a lot of that.
Yeah.
That I also
that self-hatred, like, but that I want to talk about that on like a psychological aspect, because it's like his self-hatred, Montrose's self-hatred, is he's projecting that onto Atticus, and he's instead of like it's like instead he's angry at himself because he is homosexual, and because of that in how society treats homosexuals in this time period and to this day, he doesn't want his son to be that way, and he thinks the solution is to beat it out of him, which is wild, but it happens. It's a real thing. It's a real thing.
And what bothers me is it didn't even work the first time, because let's not forget that Montrose and Uncle George's father beat the heck out of Montrose as a child. Montrose turned around and did the same thing to his son. For what? It didn't stop you. No matter how hard he fought to avoid it, he still came to love this gentleman whose name escapes me again. Like, I feel bad for Montrose in that he has felt that he couldn't just truly be himself. But I also feel bad for Atticus for being a punching bag. His father's issues were internalized. It was self-hatred, and he took it out on Atticus for no reason.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you're spot on, and it's like it's that self-hatred plus the generational pain that he is projecting forward onto his son, on Atticus, and it's like there's these societal things. There's these. You've got the black trauma. You've got homosexual trauma. And he's now trying. He's doing what he thinks is going to solve the problem, which it's not. It's not the. It's not a solution. Like, it's not. This is something that he was. You're born that way, and
right.
You think that violence is going to somehow remove it, and it's not. It's a natural part of who you are, and like he couldn't embrace that. Now he thinks that is somehow, even though it didn't work on him, he still thinks that is okay to do to his son. It's just like, it's wild, bro. It's wild.
The character whose name escapes me was Sammy. Another thing that popped up when Atticus and Letty showed up to the apartment and Sammy and Montrose were arguing. They caught them in the hallway, and in that moment, Montrose said nothing. He didn't say anything. He didn't in any way claim Sammy, although he claimed Sammy publicly in episode 5. He claimed him in a safe space. He didn't claim him around family, around friends. He claimed him in an environment where no one would judge them. And when the time came to basically come out and be honest about their relationship, he chose to stand there and stand still. It's very clear that Atticus knew what was going on. As we recall that, Tree had already told Atticus about Sammy and Montrose. Tree was the cousin that went with them to Detroit. Yeah. But Montrose had an opportunity to say something about it, and he chose not to. And that also reinforced Sammy's mention of, he was cooking for Montrose, and Montrose was just finding little problems. And this has been an ongoing thing in their relationship, where when they finally have the opportunity or they get close to just being in a relationship, locking things in, Montrose always finds the smallest reasons to get out of it. It's a different side of Montrose than we saw in, was that episode 5? Where he finally came out?
5 or 6. It might have been 6. No, 7. It was 5. Yeah, it was 5. Because I'm
in episode 5, yes, he had just gotten beat up by Atticus, but Montrose was free by the end of the episode, free to be himself, free to do with Sammy, and he looked happy. And then in this episode, he is straight running away from that.
Yeah, he goes back into his cage.
Yeah,
it's wild. Like, yeah, that was an intense moment early on in the episode. Yeah. Now, did that happen before or after Letty had that dream about her being pregnant?
That was after Letty had the dream. I guess we are skipping.
Wasn't that the opening? That was the opening, right?
No. The opening was Hippolyta, wasn't it?
Yeah, with the motorcycle girl. Like, and yeah. I don't know who that was. I
I
missed that
don't know.
reference.
You know what? Now that I think about it, was the woman on the motorcycle the same as the alien lady?
I think the alien lady was her. I think it was Hippolyta.
No, that was a different person.
You talking about the lady with the fro?
Yeah, that was Hippolyta.
I think that was her. I
No,
mean, it might be though. I
no.
might have to go. I need to go back and watch it because you might be
Honestly,
right. You
no
might be
matter
right.
what we say in this episode tonight, y'all, there was a lot of information in this episode, and I feel
I
like
need to
I
rewatch it.
need to watch it again.
I need
So
to
don't
rewatch
take
it.
anything we say for face value. We are
Yeah.
not in any way, shape, or form spitting facts right now.
No, we
We
hadn't
think
had
right now.
time. We hadn't had time. This is
Yeah.
not what this show is about. This is a Aftercraft show. We
This
are live immediately with our first thoughts, reactions, gut reactions to what the heck we just saw on screen, and this was quite an episode.
Yeah, these are purely we thinks and not we knows.
One thing I wasn't anticipating was how much we got in this episode because I really thought it was going to be centered around Hippolyta. Like, I mean, throughout the whole episode, I thought it was going to be like last episode where we stayed in South Korea the whole time.
I don't think it was rushed. I don't think it was like shortened. So I think even though the majority of the episode was about Hippolyta, the information that they gave us didn't take away from her. But I do think it was needed. Like I had said it before. I needed to find out about William and Christina. That's what I needed to know, and it's clear that people needed it too. So I'm not bothered by that. Definitely not bothered by the Montrose and Atticus meeting. Definitely not upset about learning about Letty being pregnant. Were they as relevant to what went down? I don't think so. I think definitely Atticus because we needed him by the end of the episode. But I'm still happy we got them. They definitely brought some things. They answered some questions.
Yeah, there were some things that they tied up from previous episodes.
Yeah,
they did tie some loose ends together while also opening up some new ones for us.
That's putting it greatly. There are so many questions.
Yeah,
I think we should start talking about it.
Yeah, no, like okay, so gosh, I don't know if I said this up top. I think I did, but I'm going to reiterate this. Like, Letty is pregnant with a vampire. It's one of the vampire creatures from the first episode, dog.
You said
all right, that was off camera.
Yeah, it down for the people.
So at first, so she has the dream just like Atticus had in the mansion, running down the corridor of the burning mansion, and then she's pregnant. She grabs her stomach. The lady turns around, whispers something that we can't hear, and then she, boom, goes up in flames. She wakes up and she's clenching her stomach, but she's not pregnant at this moment. And then we're gonna, I guess,
you mean
she's
showing?
Not, yeah, she's not showing. She's not showing. We fast forward, I guess, to another because this happens later, I think, in the episode. But she's talking to Ruby, and that's another person we got to get into on this.
Mm-hmm.
But Ruby asks, she's in the kitchen, they're talking, and then Ruby asks her to taste I think it's spaghetti, whatever it is.
It was a red sauce. I know that.
It's a red sauce. She goes to taste it, and before she tastes it, like, she is repulsed by it. And the first question she says is, "Oh, is that garlic?" And then like tries to get out of the kitchen, and I'm like, "Oh my lord!" It's one of them. She's pregnant with one of those vampires from the first episode. Because if you remember, they were impregnating. They were putting the cow gave birth to one of those monsters. So it's like it's a artificial insemination, and I think that they did the same thing to her while she was in the mansion.
You know what?
That is my theory.
She did die.
Exactly.
She did die, and they had to bring her back to life. And when she came to, she was alone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, here's why I don't like that. I don't want to see her give birth to that thing. So for my peace of mind, she's holding Atticus Jr. I am not saying that I do not believe you and that your theory makes no sense, because I think it makes a little bit of sense. It makes a lot of bit of sense. But it also makes sense that her and Atticus made 2 out of 1 and 1. So I don't know. I don't want to see what the cow did happen to Letty. That's nasty.
No, I'm trying. It may not. I don't know. It may not conclude that way, but I guarantee you, my gut feeling is that one of those things is inside of her. And did you see the preview at the end of the episode?
Yes, I did see the preview for that.
Did you see that her and Christina were having a one-on-one, and Christina points directly at her stomach?
Well, Christina is a witch who knows everything.
Because she did it.
I would say that maybe there's got to be a little bit of Atticus in the baby somewhere. Maybe the baby is half human, which
I don't know why you will not accept the fact that this lady is conniving and evil.
No, I'm not saying that she's not conniving and evil, but we also know that generations and DNA and descendants are a big theme in the show. So it would make a lot of sense that there is going to be an Atticus Jr., especially when Gia prophesized in last week's episode that Atticus was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
We already know that if he is going to go, that's the only reason why he's around there. Christina's still going to need a part of him. So that's what makes me feel like this baby might be that. But I'm not denying that a vampire is not possible. Anything is possible on this show. I'm just saying I don't want the vampire baby to look like those monsters from episode 1. That's nasty.
It's going to be like Alien.
Don't do that.
I'm trying to tell you, it's going to be like Alien.
Well, they have told us that Atticus is going to die. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Letty is going to survive childbirth. I pray that she does. We don't need to see a Black woman die from childbirth on TV. So it can't be Alien's baby. I know that. It can't pop out the center of her chest like that.
Oh, no. I mean, yeah, I'm just saying it's not going to be a humanoid creature, whatever comes out. That's my prediction. It's going to be wild.
Well, one thing about me, I be wrong when it comes to Lovecraft Country.
I'm trying. You have to think like legit wild stuff, like because it just whatever is the.
Okay, well, since we're getting into that, let's think. Can we get into Hippolyta? Because I have a question, and I don't think the answer is easy. Was Hippolyta changing history when
Letty goes full vampire and kills Atticus, calling it? Oh, that's an interesting take. I wouldn't be. Listen, I could see that happening. That would be a wild plot twist. That would be a wild plot twist.
The only thing that stops me from there is I feel like she would have to get through Gia in order to do it. Although I didn't get to say this last week, I do think Letty is not just going to be human for the rest of the show. Something is going to happen. So, Steven, I am with you there. I don't know if it is vampire, but I have a feeling that Gia is not the only woman Atticus that has been interested in that's got a little something extra going on. I don't know if Letty has it already within her and does not know it, or if she's going to get something that's going to make her a little something extra. But I don't foresee her being human only for much longer. She is going to have something else going on, only because I think we're going to get a Gia versus Letty fight scene.
I could see them setting that up. But yeah, I think she would have to be some sort of she might. I could see that in that scenario. That would be dope. I'd like to see that. That fight scene between.
Also, in episode 3, when she first moved into the house, by the end of the episode, she was communicating with the ghosts in the house. She did have the power to communicate with them and to bring them together, to work with them. And yeah, I was actually thinking about that yesterday. So maybe her power might be a little bit more on the witchy side.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory too. Like she's the Walking Dead, which gives further validation to that baby not being fully human either,
and also her being able to communicate with the dead. That would probably be a part of it. Because she was the one experiencing the hauntings, right? Was anyone else in the house seeing these things?
But see, wait, did they explain before we get to that comment? Did they explain why Christina gave Letty the house?
Because the thing with the planets on it, whatever that's called, wasn't that in the house?
But that doesn't explain why she would give her the house, because Hippolyta gets access to that, and she travels to that dimension in this episode. Now, is this what? God, that just opened up a whole other thing.
The importance about the house was that thing. What is that thing called? The golden thing with the planets on it.
I don't know.
Whatever it is, that's what Christina wanted. And I think Christina gave Letty the house thinking that she could use her somehow to get into it. I don't think, well, I know that the sheriff didn't want Christina to have that house. Remember that? The sheriff?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Christina had to use Letty to get the house, and I think it was for that thing. Now, before Letty got the opportunity to like investigate the house and see whatever, when they had the housewarming party, Hippolyta saw that and took it back to her place.
Right. And it wouldn't explain why she took it. And maybe this episode is the explanation for why. Maybe there's some sort
I think it was just some sort of something within her.
The universe.
She
was listening to her. Her instincts were like, yo, take that. You need that.
The universe definitely told her that she needed.
Was it the alien? It might have been the alien like, yo, hey, you need this.
Yes. And when she took it, Uncle George was dead already. So she was in a place of needing answers. And maybe she felt like she was going to get them there. And
something was telling her that would hold the answers. Yeah. We gotta get into that too, because I what happened to her at the end of the episode, because it really is it isn't explained.
I have an idea.
Not explained. I guess. Oh, okay. Well, hold on. All right, now where we at?
Your mom.
Yeah. You're right.
Cooper says beatings from slavery, Jim Crow, homosexuality bias, etc. And we wonder why we are damaged psychologically. The writers are brilliantly evoking social conscious conversations.
Yep.
I agree.
110% agree. That's the brilliance of the writing.
Oh, she just reminded me that Atticus asking Montrose if his mother knew about Montrose's sexuality, to me, just further confirms the relationship between her and Uncle George. Yep. And low-key, I'm wondering if Montrose knows about that. I'm wondering if Montrose has suspicion.
He has to. I don't like. That's why he didn't react. He didn't have like a visceral reaction when Uncle George mentioned it. Yeah, it reminded him that might be the case, and it also speaks to like DL culture too.
Well, I believed Montrose when he told Atticus that his mom knew.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's like the DL culture thing. Like there are instances where people like
it was a beard.
Women, they get into the marriage and then they know that their husband is I guess bisexual, homosexual, down. They're on the down low, and they're okay with it. Some sort of agreement, negotiation, and like it's a real thing. And I mean, you have to think that goes back a ways too, to this time period. Like I could totally see that happening in this time period. Like just that being.
That's probably when a little before that is when that started. That wasn't an issue until Christianity became a thing. And it wasn't a real problem for us until we were free anyway.
Yep. That's true. Okay.
Not really the biggest thing on the plot when you're slaves, but as soon as we were free, that could become a thing we could explore.
Then, okay, so we were talking about Hippolyta.
Steven says that Christina couldn't get past the ghosts.
Yeah, I put that up earlier.
Oh, okay. She was using Letty and Atticus to deal with them. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Yeah, and I think that's what I think. I want to say Christina mentioned that to Atticus maybe during that confrontation.
Christina was also working with the doctor. We learned that was that last week when we learned that Christina was working with the doctor to possibly create whatever it is that allows her to become William.
Say that. What?
Christina was working with the doctor that owned Letty's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
She was involved in that process in some way.
But she hadn't told Ruby that. Because it's not relevant.
No,
yeah, it's not relevant yet.
You don't know that.
Yeah, it's not, because it's not relevant. She's still withholding secrets.
Steven says, I think. Oh,
what's up?
What's up, Celis? Steven says, I think Diane also has the same space goddess connection. I don't know if Hippolyta was manifesting her daughter's comics or Diane was just drawing them from the space connection and seeing her mother's true self. That's what I wanted to get into, Steven. I don't know either. And I'm leaning more to, I don't know, but I agree with you completely. It's one or the other. Either Diane is creating this and Hippolyta is finally living it, or Hippolyta was living it and Diane just has access to that knowledge somehow. And I think we'll find out hopefully soon. I'm wondering if maybe they'll show us more of Diane's comics, and which we'll see. I actually thought about that in episode 1 when on the map that she created, that wherever they went, where they ran into those police officers, how it had the Grim Reaper over it. Did she really know that, or did she?
That's a great theory. As a matter of fact, she might have
caused that, and they just didn't realize it.
She might exist in Diane's conscious now, like time travel, and so she's giving her clues through her just through her thoughts, and then she's drawing them out on the maps, because she said before she makes whatever decision she made, because we don't see what that decision is, and maybe that's why that's the last shot, is her being the space woman. But if she is that, right, so it could be a thing where Hippolyta is now, because she says, but I still have to help Diane, right? And then she turns, but we don't see what the decision is, and so it would appear that whatever dimension she is beyond space-time. She can travel to different times, different periods, different dimensions. She's got full control over space-time, basically, from that dimension. So she could be giving her clues as to what's going on in this universe, and that's why she's able to draw these things.
The only thing that bothers me is, if she didn't draw some of those things, would they have happened? Would Uncle George have gone to that place?
But maybe it's necessary.
Yeah.
Maybe it's necessary. It must be, because whatever is at the end of it's kind of like Doctor Strange when he went through those 14 million different scenarios and they only won once.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe what's happening is the best case scenario.
Yeah.
I like that theory. That's a great theory.
Yeah. It was on my mind and I just never got the chance to say it. I want to say maybe I felt that way in episode 4, that Diane was causing some of these things to happen, and not that she was just highlighting where things could potentially happen.
Yeah.
I feel like this episode, maybe even more so next week's episode, is going to confirm things a little bit more. You know what it reminds me of? What's the movie? Interstellar?
Yes, exactly. That's yeah.
Doing the thing with the sand and
he was giving his daughter clues and hints through space and time.
I just had a brain explosion, and I really need to listen. I need to watch the episode again, and I need to listen to the podcast, because there are so many things going on. Okay, I like this now. In my head, Hippolyta is not going to come back, but she is going to, just like Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar, guide Diane and give her the info that she needs. I'm nervous for Diane in next week's episode, though.
Yeah, because she's by herself.
She's by herself, and she's going to be with black-chested police officer.
And then they had the monster with like I saw a monster with like super long nails or something. I don't know what it was. I had to rewatch that again.
I gotta watch it again.
Yeah, I got to see that again. Was she drawing them before or after he left?
By he, if you're talking about Uncle George, she's been drawing them since she was kids.
Yeah, like this, because remember, like she had the one that she drew before they went to the mansion. Like, because she drew on the map, and like I think that happens before they even she definitely does that before they go to the mansion, because she's got the Grim Reaper over the mansion.
Celis, I agree completely. They do need to stop keeping secrets. These people need to communicate with each other. Imagine what things would be like if Letty, Atticus, and Montrose told Hippolyta what happened. Episode 3 should have been that conversation, and that's not what it was because
they didn't.
Right.
Yeah, they just, yeah.
So many problems would be solved if people would just talk to each other.
That's true. The communication is lacking, and the team is suffering right now.
Most definitely.
The team is hurting. Yeah. So, let's talk the Hippolyta time traveling piece.
So, right? Yeah, she finally gets I'm gonna call it the display because the name escapes me, but she finally opens it. She gets a key. She gets some coordinates. She already don't trust these people, so she does not communicate. And then she just follows the coordinates until she gets to this machine. And also, was she a mathematician? Because she is, right now, she's the smartest person on the show.
Yeah. Like, and what they do kind of reveal that a little bit at the end with her conversation with Uncle George. It seems like it's implied that she's always been like this, and she, like she said, she shrunk herself.
Yeah,
that's another deep thing that we got to talk about.
Let's not get there yet, but so she got to the machine. She somehow knows how to open it, and then the police come and they're trying to rough her up. Then Atticus comes and saves the day, and boom, she gets sucked into the machine, and she wakes up in space, possibly in another dimension. Would you say?
Yeah.
And she doesn't really understand where she is, and then she sees a ship, which is probably up there with one of the coolest ships I've seen. That was pretty funky.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she's in the ship. She wakes up, and that's when we see, what do we call
Afro alien?
Afro alien, I guess.
The Afrocentric big Afro alien.
Yes. Who was very tall.
Like, 8, 9, 10 feet.
She was about as big as
huge.
Avatar.
Yeah. One of the Navi.
Yeah. And this is where I need to watch it again, because I was so just astounded by what I was seeing. I don't remember a lot of words that were said.
Yeah, like, so she was trying. Well, one, she's trying to figure out where she is. She's kind of lost. She's dazed. And then she starts making like these calculations. She's trying to recall what she was doing last while she was still on Earth, I believe. And then, it's almost like she was quoting like different sci-fi books and novels and in shows, because like she was talking about gravity on Mars and like stuff. It was wild, like what she was saying. Like, and I have to watch it again too.
I'm stuck on her knowing exactly what to do to get the door open. How does she know that?
I don't even. Yeah, but was that what she was supposed to do? Because it feels like to me she did it wrong. Because like the alien lady was like, "You're not trapped." Like that whole sequence was wild.
She wasn't supposed to open the
Unless
door.
it was an analogy. It might have been an analogy to what was at the end of the episode.
Let's just say that her ability to travel through time was a power within her, and that's what the Afrocentric alien was trying to. Let's just call her an alien. Why she got to be Afrocentric?
Yeah, she's just an alien.
Why she's trying to get Hippolyta to see that.
Mm-hmm.
She's, Hippolyta is trying so hard to escape, and the alien is like, "You already got what it takes. You're not in jail. Like, focus on that." And that's where she figures out. I don't know.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe that's when she figures out all she has to say is "I am Hippolyta," and that's like her power, I guess.
Yeah, she's it's a mental cage that she was in. She was trapped in her own. It's like the ship really is like an analogy for her own self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Like her not accepting her reality of the reality of her potential, of who she could be, of who she is, and instead settling for the role of the housewife, as inevitably what we came to the conclusion of at the end of the episode was. I think that's what really that whole sequence is about.
Yeah,
I think that's what the alien or the explorer was trying to help her to understand. That was like one of the coolest moments to me in the episode. I like the whole episode. Like, let me not get that wrong. I love this episode, but that was definitely one of the coolest moments because it was like, for a moment I was lost because I was like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm gonna just sit here and let this thing happen. And then we get to the scene where she travels back in time because she's like, I want to be dancing on stage with Josephine Baker
in Paris.
Paris specifically.
Boom, that's exactly where she is. And she is just in awe. She is starstruck. She's messing up the dance moves, and all the French girls are cussing her out and moving her out the way. And she is just so happy to see Josephine Baker on stage.
Yep.
That was really dope to see. I love that Josephine didn't even care that she messed up.
Mm-hmm.
I love that Josephine, took the time to show her the move and then still closed her out of her dressing room. But I thought that was dope. But I wonder, they didn't really talk about it much. Also, I need to watch the episode again because on the bottom of the screen they had coordinates, not just for a location but also time, and it was moving so fast that I didn't really get to see what numbers were moving until later. But I think under further examination, we should be able to tell how long she was there.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a 2-day thing. I think she was there for a little while.
Yeah, I think those are. I think they're spatial. They're definitely spatial coordinates. Like it's. I think those coordinates are relative to some point in space time. I think those are space time coordinates. So I don't know if it tells. Yeah, I need to see. Yeah, like to your point, we got to see. I have to rewatch the episode and see what those numbers are. Write them down, and then Google it and see what it gives me. That'll be interesting, bro. That might take me down a wormhole.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that sequence of numbers? You Google it and then just see where it goes.
You know what? I'm good. Let's do that. I will take some time tomorrow. I'm going to rewatch the episode tomorrow, and I'm going to do lots of pausing so I can write some numbers down so I can see, especially in the sequence where she was a warrior and she was training. Yeah. They put the coordinates up enough times for me to notice that the only thing that changed was the last sequence in that time. Like it was just the very last bit of numbers that was changing, almost like it was a day-to-day thing. That's what made me pay more attention to those, was that last scene. But anyway, with Josephine Baker, I'm pretty sure she was there for more than a day. And the conversation about her hatred for white people, for herself, for her circumstances, that was really deep.
Mm-hmm.
I could relate to a lot of the things that she was saying. And again, I want to watch the episode again so bad.
All right, hold on. I had to. So, all right, and on my Twitter, right, my location is set to the coordinates for Andromeda. If
Why?
because I can. What do you mean? Why?
You know what? You're right. My bad. I shouldn't have asked.
Who does that? Why wouldn't you?
And what do the coordinates?
But so it's like the coordinates are RA 0H like 0 hours 42 minutes 44 seconds December plus 41 degrees 16 feet 9 inches, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't think that's exactly what that is, but here, I'll put this. Can I share my screen? But it seemed to be like a similar sequence of numbers, so I feel like, and I don't know how this is calculated, but that's the coordinates for Andromeda, the closest approximate galaxy in the solar system, 2 hours to the Milky Way.
The only way that we could know is if they spelled it out the same way they did on the show.
Right. And I don't know if that's an iteration of this. Like, I don't know if those are space-time coordinates, because I think that this is what this is, and I don't know how to calculate it. So I would have to Google that. Like, I would have to research how they actually calculate positions in space and time, because everything in space is moving. So I don't know. Anyway, that's a conversation for another day.
What was I?
But
thinking?
I feel like that's what it's based on, because it kind of looked like if you put all those numbers together, it would be something like that.
I'm just wondering, not necessarily the coordinates part, the location part, but the time part of the coordinates. I feel like if we go back and we look at them, we should be able to tell how long she was in each place.
It's probably latitude, longitude, time, date, location, just in numerical format, like, and just that's probably what it is, though, because I mean, you have to imagine that when she goes back to Paris at that point in time, like, you got, geographic coordinates, then the relative time and relative date and year and all that. So, like, I don't know. That's my guess anyway. That's a guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, we just sidetracked the whole conversation, or I did. Oops. Get back on track. Let's get back on track.
Talking about her being with Josephine Baker and the conversation that they had, that again, it was really deep, and I connected with a bit of it, but I have to watch that again. Really conversation. But from there, she went.
Ooh, wait. But no. Before we go, because there's the conversation she was having at the end when she came to that realization, and the quote that she has, she said something about she feels like white people have found a smart way to lynch her without her feeling the noose. I believe that's the quote. That's a paraphrasing, but it's something like that. And I was like, yo, yes, exactly. Because it's kind of like that, the code switching and all that. Man, I love it. This is an episode you got to go back and watch a couple times and decompress and just get everything out of that. But that was my favorite.
That was from the same scene?
Yeah, with Josephine Baker. She says that to her. Yeah, like she says that to her, because that was my quote for the night.
I'm reading the comments. And then from there, she wakes up in not wakes up in a field of, I guess you could call it a like a training field, surrounded by women dressed like warriors.
Yep.
You sent it to me, Freeman, who were dressed a lot like Benin's fearless female warriors. The only women, no men. Even looked like there was a queen there also, and she's training.
Yeah, JBM sent me that, and that's who Celis is.
Oh, what's up, JBM?
I just figured that out too. I didn't realize that's who that was.
Is that why
JBM though? I was just like, yeah, Yeah, he was up here visiting. He was up in Greensboro. Came by. So yeah, we watched the episode. So we were having a conversation about that too. And then you were blowing my phone up. I was like, bro, there's too many conversations going on right now, and I got too much to like listen and watch and pay attention to during this episode. But it's wow. But I meant to say, like, I don't even remember what I said. I think it's about the mansion. Because he said that the mansion would be burned down by the time they got there, and I can't. Maybe
Yes, and it was
did I say that the mansion was Christina was going to be there or something?
It was either that the mansion was going to be back up or that Christina was going to be there. One of the two.
I think it was both. I think I said that she was going to rebuild the mansion. She was going to be the one that meets them there.
Dang, I've just been all wrong, huh?
I think that's
right one time.
That sounds like an answer I would give because I really can't remember what I said. That was a while ago. Yeah,
it was.
But yeah, no, he said it was going to. I do remember him saying that it was going to be burned down.
Oh, there we go.
I think I meant like it was going to be an illusion. Christina was going to create some sort of illusion that the mansion was reconstructed and she was going to be there and something would happen. Like, but then all the stuff with Ruby happened between that and that. Like, so yeah, I don't know. Yes, I lost.
But let's get back because we keep going all over the place. So Hippolyta wakes up. She's being trained by the warrior. A lot of time passes there because the coordinates changed a lot. She was there training with these people for a significant amount of time until she finally passed her lesson. She was able to defeat her instructor and then became, I guess, the leader of this little army.
The Amazons.
That's the vibes I was getting.
That's what they are. That's what they are. Yeah, and it's that also was those warriors, female warriors, were the inspiration for Black Panther. What is the group?
The Dora Milaje?
Yes. And yeah, that was the inspiration for that. And shout out to JBM for sending that link because he's the one who found that article. And so yeah, they're during the colonial age in Europe, the French actually sent like an army there, and there were like 432 of these Amazon warriors. In this, I forget what the country is, but it's between I think Nigeria. Where's that article? Let me pull that up. Between Nigeria and Togo is where this empire was. This is 19th century. Yeah, 19th century. So the French sent soldiers, and 400. They were met by 434 Amazon warriors, and 17 returned, but they defeated the French. So little history lesson there. Cool story. Great story. Cool. Love that they pulled that reference too.
From there, she says, I am Hippolyta, and she wakes up with Uncle George. She says, I am Hippolyta, George's wife.
Yep. And that's wakes up in bed with Uncle George.
She wakes up with Uncle George, and here I think is where some altering of reality happens.
Yeah, because it's the opening scene to the show with them.
Yes.
Same
Yes.
conversation, altered though. It is an altered version of that conversation.
And I think it was Steven that says it.
The comments.
Yes, I'm looking for the comment now. But basically, she comes back. She tells Uncle George of her entire experience, everything that she just saw, everything she did, notes explaining everything on a mathematical level. And Uncle George is taking it all in, believing every single word that she says.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the comment from Steven. So he says also, Tick coming back from his own time trip holding a Lovecraft Country book written by Uncle George. Whatever Hippolyta tells Uncle George in this conversation sparks something. Uncle George is able to do something, write things, take more time to do something, because as we know, when Hippolyta got sucked into the machine, Atticus did as well.
Yeah.
He pops out at the end holding this book that he did not have previously. The book probably didn't exist before this moment.
Yeah, cause cause that book didn't exist. Yeah, it doesn't exist in this current timeline. Yeah, I didn't peep that. I did peep the book and that it was Lovecraft Country, but I didn't. Does it so? And it says written by Uncle George, by George Freeman.
I didn't remember. I didn't notice the name. I did notice that he came out with a book that he didn't have in his hand when he went in there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I noticed that as well. But I didn't know that it was written by. I think JBM said the same thing. I think he said it was written by Uncle George too. I missed it. I missed that. That it was.
What if that book, Lovecraft Country, is in fact the guide, the finished guide?
Yeah. Or no, wait a second. I think no, we were before JBM left, we were talking about that. We thought it was it the Book of Names? That was our theory. Was that the Lovecraft Country book actually the Book of Names? Well,
it doesn't look like next week we're gonna get to see
Atticus. I know that would be tough too. That would be tough too, because it would, well, unless Uncle George somehow figured out how to translate it.
I'll say this: if she does in fact go back in time and alters reality by telling Uncle George these things, this is also before Montrose has the opportunity to destroy everything that he does. So for all we know, they could very well get access to the book.
True.
So where are we? She has a conversation with Uncle George. Then somehow she gets to, her and Uncle George are traveling together. They're in outer space. She's exploring.
Yeah.
And Uncle George is there. He is not dead in her new reality. She's exploring things. She's chilling with the little alien people. She's, using what looks like an iPhone to write notes down and to draw things. I want to watch this again so bad.
Yeah, there are a lot of subtle things in this. This episode is jam packed with stuff that happens, and yeah, this is an episode you will have to rewatch for sure, because a lot happens in this episode. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, the coded Book of Names. So it is the Book of Names. Like Lovecraft Country is the Book of Names, but it's coded.
Got you.
And then the Traveler's Guide. So the Traveler's, because the Traveler's Guide had Hippolyta on the cover as the space character, the explorer.
And it also has Diane Freeman's name on it.
Yes, and she drew that character, and Hippolyta became that character in that dimension, in that alternate dimension that she and Atticus get sucked into.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say next week, Diane is going to be in a lot of trouble and she's going to draw things that will help her.
Yeah. She's the clues. But how could that happen though? Because like it's now is it going to be more apparent and more clear to the audience in next week's episode that Hippolyta is the one guiding her or helping her?
I'm not comfortable with the idea that Hippolyta chooses not to come back. By that, I don't mean that I don't believe it. I'm saying, like, seeing her choose the life of the explorer over being the mom, knowing that she still has a child out there, that's hard for me to accept.
No, that's not what she implied at the end of the episode, because she also remembered. Hold on, now at the end, she like disperses into like molecules, into like particles. So like she probably she said she has to be more than what she was when she was on Earth if she goes back, and then all of a sudden she bursts into molecules.
So what I mean is she will definitely support Diane and give her more than she could as a human. But the idea of not seeing her on screen anymore as Hippolyta Freeman doesn't sit well with me, especially seeing that Diane is about to go through a whole bunch of ish and her mom is not there.
But is she though? It's different, bro. She's a Force ghost
in the way that I would like her to be.
Right, she's a Force ghost.
She's going to be there in the best way that she can be, in the best way for the situation. Just like you said, out of the 14 million possible outcomes, there's only one.
Mm-hmm.
So she is going to do the right thing. I just don't like that right thing right now.
Force ghost Hippolyta.
I think. Did we miss anything?
What, in the show? I think we missed a lot in the show.
Yeah.
Comment wise, they probably missed a few comments. No, but yeah. What do y'all think about those theories? Because we just gave y'all a lot of theories, talking about a lot of things. We had a great conversation in the chat. Stephen or Stefan, I don't know how to pronounce that, which is the correct pronunciation, but appreciate your comments, and Mom as well. JBM been very active. Everybody's been active in the chats, but it was a very, very good episode. Very thought provoking.
I can honestly say I was looking at my TV like the whole time. Just like, what is on here? What is happening? Why is this happening? One thing about this show, you're gonna have questions.
Yeah, this is not the episode I was anticipating we would get this week, and it was great.
Shout out to everybody who thought that Hippolyta is in fact who thought that Hippolyta.
I did. That's what I thought.
Goddess Hippolyta, and thought we were going to see her back then, because that's
what the thing that got me was the armor. Like, it was Bronze Age armor, which is what I was like, oh, ancient Greece, bronze, got it. That was the connection I made when I saw her donning that helmet. I was like, that's a Bronze Age Greek-esque type of armor. And then like the shin guards and all, like just the armor they were donning was very typical of that age in that time period. And I was like, that was my theory. She was actually the Greek god Hippolyta. And maybe she is now, because if she did do what I think she did at the end of the episode, technically she would have just become somewhat of a god.
Okay, here we go. Hippolyta was the daughter of Ares and Atria, queen of the Amazons.
Perfect. Yo, that's a great connection.
Yeah, her name is Hippolyta for a reason.
That makes man, they
her go back in time.
Yo, shout out to Misha Green, yo, because God Almighty, this is phenomenal.
All the research that it took to just make these connections and do these things.
Hard working. That's amazing. That's awesome. I love this.
This makes me want to read up more on
layers.
Where's JBM? Layers.
Layers, yes.
A button with like different things, like just to say them, just to press.
Yeah, we need a soundboard. We need a soundboard mixing.
A lot of it is going to be JBM sayings.
Yeah, because we got to soundbite ourselves. Just things we can go up there. Sound bites we can take for previous episodes.
Yeah.
Especially, JBM for sure.
Between layers and demon strokes, those things need to be written.
I forgot about that one.
I have not. I wrote that down.
About that one.
I've been writing stuff down. We're gonna have merch one day, and it's gonna be solid.
Yo, what? All right, what episode was that for? Lovecraft.
Yes, that was the episode where Ruby and William got down on the steps.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Demon shows. What's the connection of Greece and Africa? So technically, Hippolyta was
connected the Amazons to the warriors of Benin.
Yeah, because these are the African Amazon, yeah, African Amazon warriors. Hippolyta being the Greek god, and the daughter of Ares and the queen of the Amazons, but the connection is that these are the African Amazons, and the warrior queen, princess, or whoever there was that she was training under, that was during that sequence, she was Amazonan. So there's a connection between the Africa and Greek mythology and African history.
Shout out to my Latin teacher in high school, Mrs. Jones. This would be what she would call a Latin moment. And we would get extra points in class if we brought it up. So shout out to all of her current students who are so hyped to go to class tomorrow because they will get extra credit because of this Latin moment.
Nice.
By the way, took that class all 4 years in high school. I cannot speak Latin. So, yay.
Oh, Lord. Well, and on that, so are we going to end it here? We're almost an hour and 10 in.
I mean, I don't think there is much more that we can say. I think we need to watch the episode again. I'm going to watch it, and this time I'm going to take more notes, and I would like to have a deeper conversation about it on next week's episode of The Cookout.
Yeah, so definitely join us next week when on The Cookout. What's this, episode 13?
I think so, yeah.
I believe episode 13 of The Cookout. We'll have an in-depth conversation with the larger panel. Give us time to rewatch and reflect and write our notes down, as Imani was just saying.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I think Lou will be able to join us next week. Hopefully, because I would love to hear his breakdown of these past 2 episodes.
I need to hear some breakdowns about a few episodes from Lou, because he is the king of the answers. When we got the questions, he got the answers.
Yeah, he's gonna make all this make sense. Definitely looking forward to that. Hopefully, we'll get confirmation if you can join us this week. I think you can. So definitely, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, we'll be back on Saturday with another episode of The Cookout.
Yes.
And also Wednesday, we got episode 2 of Starlight Beacon, our Mandalorian season 1 recap. We're going to recap episode 2, The Child, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Thursday, if you're on Twitch, if you have a Twitch account, definitely check in. Me and JBM, I think, well, at least I know I will be. We'll see if JVM will join us, but hopefully that will be the case. We're going to do a midnight stream of Star Wars Squadrons. Oh, teaser. Got something before we go. Can end on this note.
Actually, before you play that, also please look out within the next few weeks. We will be releasing The Black Mark, starring Ebony and Mark, a new show on Gumbo. Ebony and Mark will be reviewing films together, and to kick off spooky season, they'll be reviewing some horror films. So look out for that. Dates coming soon.
Absolutely. We're definitely looking forward to kicking that thing off with them. Yeah, and when we have final confirmation on a date, we'll definitely let you guys know on either, more than likely, the Cookout, and we'll definitely have them on before the episode airs so they can talk about it. But yeah, so Gumbo Squadron, official Star Wars Squadron's logo. This is going to be the squadron. These are the colors. These are the colors we're going to wear in the battle. You know what I'm saying? We take flight on Thursday night at midnight on Twitch. So definitely look forward to that. Without further ado, I think we're going to end this episode here. Imani? People?
Black, y'all. It was confirmed in this episode. So I usually
Wait, what?
I said the aliens are black, y'all.
Oh, yeah, okay.
This episode, I usually close the shows off by saying, if the aliens come back, let's hope they black. But we already know.
Oh, we definitely talking about The Boys on Saturday. Because, my God, this last episode. Lord have mercy. So if you watch The Boys, if you've been keeping up with The Boys season 2, definitely tune in Saturday because we're going to have an in-depth conversation about what we just saw this past week and whatever we got on Friday. So I know we've tried to close out the last few minutes, but we're officially closing out now. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you on the next episode. Peace, love, and